Yep, much to the chagrin of a lot of people in power, the conversation around Jeffrey Epstein doesn't seem to be fizzling out anytime soon, which is great. Hopefully, it will keep this steam and will never peter out, because it is of the utmost importance that this gets corrected, that they stop trying to perpetuate these lies that they're attempting to shove down the American public's throat about Jeffrey Epstein not having a list, not indulging in blackmail, and then trying to drop what has now been revealed as modified footage of Jeffrey Epstein's cell area to prove that he took his own life and no one came in there. There was no fishy business. The Baba Yaga didn't pay him a visit or anything. And they try and proclaim that that footage was like the raw, real deal, organic, sourced footage here. But what we're talking about today, it turns out that was once again another fucking lie. CoffeeZilla just made a video talking about it as well, so I'm going to play a few clips from that because he is significantly more intelligent than I am. And buckle your seatbelt because it is a wild ride.
The raw Epstein footage was modified according to its metadata, despite Dan Bongino previously saying that they would release the original footage so you wouldn't think there were shenanigans.
There's video. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
Well, unfortunately, that's not what we got.
To briefly explain for those that don't know, when the DOJ and FBI came out and said that Epstein did not have a list, did not indulge in blackmail, and did in fact commit suicide, they then dropped some footage that was supposed to corroborate that there really was no one else that entered his area and killed him or anything. So they dropped a lot of footage. And it was supposed to be the raw feed of it. Turns out that doesn't seem to be the case. It was very likely modified, and you're about to see the metadata that indicates that it most likely was, as well as a forensic expert that weighs in that also thinks that it was not done properly here.
And basically they pulled the metadata and showed that the footage appears to be assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage, which technically it is not. Now, I pulled the EXIF data myself. This is what it looks like. You can see that there's these ingredients file path here, where you can see 4 different files. 2 of them are just identical. So 2 unique files here that have been basically stitched together is the most charitable interpretation.
So they went into Adobe Premiere and edited the footage, saving it multiple times. I cannot believe that they would even leave the metadata intact. You would think that these 3-letter organizations would be better at hiding their dirty work. Now, maybe if they were using the superior editing program, Sony Vegas, they would have been able to, get away with it more effectively, because Sony Vegas probably doesn't even have metadata. It's so fucking archaic. But they went into Adobe Premiere, spliced this together, and then sent it as raw when it is not raw. It is edited. That is, legitimately, by all possible definitions, a lie. Even though Bongino said, no, you're going to get the raw, so there's no shenanigans. But all we get is shenanigans.
Yes, maybe you didn't do anything with it, but it kind of ruins the whole chain of evidence. Wired actually quotes a professor of UC Berkeley whose research focuses on digital forensics. He has testified in numerous court cases, and he says, if a lawyer brought me this file and asks if it was suitable for court, I'd say no. Go back to the source. Do it right. Do a direct export from the original system. No monkey business.
It's actually scary just how blatant this corruption is. For years, they have talked about the Epstein list and the blackmail. It is something that everybody knows exists. There is endless amounts of evidence to suggest its legitimacy. Yet now, all of a sudden, they're like, nah, it's not real. No, that's just fictitious. That's like fucking Santa Claus's list right there. That's not real. No naughty and nice list. No Jeffrey Epstein list. There's no such thing. Jeffrey Epstein's not even a real person. That's just a made-up fairy tale. They haven't gone that far with that claim, but like I said last time, I feel like we're not far off from them just trying to deny Jeffrey Epstein ever even existed, trying to scrub him from the history books here. But they are actively just not even trying to make this believable. They are so confident that they will not be held accountable that they don't even bother to do even the slightest amount of elbow grease to convince anyone to believe them. And they're right, nothing's happening to them. They are covering up for one of the biggest pedophiles in history that implicates some of the most powerful people across the globe. And they are sweeping it under the rug. There have been no arrests made, and it doesn't seem like they're pursuing it at all. Caroline even just recently said that they're not, like, releasing anything in regards to it because of, like, how graphic and gross all of it is.
What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Oh, they provided the results of that? How many people went to jail, Caroline? I must have missed that update. Were there a lot of bad guys that got locked up here? Oh man, that's huge. I feel like more people should know that. Can you share who all got arrested from all of the Epstein investigations? This vile worm tries to say that nothing's going to get released, and I guess nothing's going to happen to anyone that was incriminated here because a lot of it was not fit for public consumption. Fucking weirdo, no one's asking you to, like, share the videos or anything like that. But you are saying that you have this evidence and you're doing nothing with it. And we know there is a list of clients and a lot of people that engaged with it. Fucking arrest them! What the public deserves is that you will follow through with your duty of arresting these evil people that you have unbelievable amounts of evidence on. Which is not happening. This is the furthest thing from transparency, unless she's trying to argue that this cover-up is so blatant, obvious, and terrible that everyone can see through it, so you can immediately know how guilty some of the most powerful people are. Then I guess that makes sense, because this is such a poorly done attempt at burying this that everyone can see through it. Is that the point she was trying to make? Perhaps, I guess. Every step of the way here, they are lying and trying to cover up everything related to Jeffrey Epstein, including this footage that was supposed to be raw footage.
The video aspect ratio suddenly shifts as the tape changes over or whatever they claim. You can see that right here. There's like a sudden shift in the video. I have not changed this video in any way. I have it in the Premiere Pro timeline, which I guess they had as well. So this is as intended. So there's this just weird shifts in the footage. I mean, this was done in actually a very sloppy way after they explicitly talked about needing to do it in the right way so the American public could rely on it.
Now, as CoffeeZilla says, it could be all just incompetence, like actually just fucking troglodytes here in charge of all of this. So even though they called attention to needing to do it the right way, they're just so fucking brain dead, like actual lobotomites, and just couldn't even do it the right way, so then they just farted this out. Like, it could be, like, no manipulation here. Like, this is just how it's done. Like, for some reason, it dumps a minute, like, as it's switching over. And they had to put it into editing software and fuck up the aspect ratio. I guess it could be incompetence. But I would not be that charitable with this. They are doing so much lying. Again, we already know about the list existing, and we know about the blackmail. That is all real stuff, and now they're denying it. And now they're doing this modifying of footage while trying to fight back against the conspiracy that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. It's just insanity. They are so confident that the public will do nothing about it. They'll get upset, but they'll just swallow it and be done with it and move on. And some people are, but I'm happy that most aren't. They are desperately doing everything in their power to try and bury this whole conversation about Jeffrey Epstein. Like a couple days ago where Trump interrupted a question about it in order to try and shift to something else. Like, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that creep? How can you be talking about him when there's floods going on in Texas? It's such a bad look.
Why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the native set?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas.
Yeah, people are still talking about Epstein. It's one of the biggest, most in-your-face cover-ups most people have ever seen. This is one of the biggest pedophiles in history that implicates so many extremely powerful people. Yeah, people are still talking about it, understandably, because the people deserve answers, and there needs to be justice for all of the people that engaged in this. This desperation from those in power to move on from the Jeffrey Epstein conversation is extremely scary, and they are doing it with reckless abandon, feeling completely immune to consequences for all of this. And so far, they're right. Like, there's not anything that's coming from it. There's still no arrest being made. There's still no new information coming out. The only information we get is more information about how they are lying, like modifying the footage and shit. It's craziness. I just wanted to give you a little update here with everything that's unfolding in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.